Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Greg M here with your sports report, and just wanted to bring up some things that I found through my research. And I was thinking as far as the greatest track and field coaches that are around today, past and present. And the information that came up involved some of the people that I was thinking about. And as this little statement put out here from when I try to research, there are many great track and field coaches who have made significant contribution to the sport, right? Here are a few who are often recognized for their achievement. Now, some of them you might never heard of some of these guys. Lloyd Bud Winter, an American coach known for his innovative techniques. He coached athletes like John Carlos, Tommy Smith, Lee Evans, among others. Then you have Bob Kersey, number 2. American coach Kersey has trained numerous Olympic champions, including Jackie Joyner Kersey, Don Harper, Gail Devers, Allyson Phoenix. Right? Not to mention Flo Jo. Stephen Francis, Jamaican coach who also produced multiple champions. These coaches have consistently produced champions, professional athletes over long periods, and have made significant contributions to track and field. However, it is important to note that there are many other talented coaches around the world who have also played crucial roles in the success of their athletes. And some of the sources here are like from Track Alert, Let's Run, Simplifaster.com, as you can see what this statement is based off of. And you have Glenn Mills from Jamaica, who's also doing up his thing, you know what I'm saying, and continues to coach. There's an article at the end of this video, or another article, a video of a great interview that was just done last night from a YouTube sports analyst, track and field YouTuber, Dr. Gregory Hartney in Jamaica, that lives there. And he was able to snag Coach Glenn Mills, the great coach of Jamaica who coached the Usain Bolt, who accomplished some great feat and world records that so far is untouchable. Anyway, let's see if I can look more into this. So the greatest track and field coaches of all time, this is done by Robert Taylor, Track Alerts. And they have Stephen Francis and all these other guys. You can see Bob Kersey there and all that. I noticed too, they had mentioned Tom Tellez, who was the coach of Carl Lewis back in the days. So there's probably many other coaches that should be in this phase, but I guess this is going to start out with the modern coaches of today. So they go down here to say one of the top coaches, right? The top 3. Bud Winter, Bob Kersey, Stephen Francis. I think they should drop the Bud Winter guy and just have Bob Kersey, Stephen Francis, and Glenn Mills. But anyway, the first 2 are Americans and the others is Jamaican. These 3 coaches have produced many Olympic champions and world record setters. They would take up much of the space to list them. So let's skip down to here. This article one is start with Bud Winter. This man is a pioneer. His body of work extends to more than athletes. He has some input in Jamaica coaching development. Dennis Johnson, who brought sprint technique coaching to Jamaica and the philosophy that athletic development can be done in Jamaica, was one of the former athletes. He invited Bud Winter down for a coaching seminar with young Glenn Mills, one of the attendees. So I guess Glenn Mills was a student of this guy when he came to do a coaching clinic in Jamaica. And the idea that Bud Winter brought was relaxation was an important part of speed, seemed counterintuitive at the time. The notion that relaxation helped with maintaining of top speed for a sprinter was groundbreaking at the time it was introduced. Bud Winter also the coach of John Carlos, Tommy Smith, Lee Evans, Ronnie Ray Smith, Willie Steele, to name a few. And his success ranges from the 100 200 and 400 long jump, and even pole vault at the Olympic level. Of course, Tommy Smith and John Carlos' careers were cut short because of their stance against injustice. You know, they were in a time where America was fighting for civil rights, and a lot of black people were being mistreated and all that. Martin Luther King had to come out and stand up for the black community to have rights and all that. And these guys did their thing on the podium. Remember the picture where they raised their fists and they caught hell for it. But anyway, I don't want to get too much into that. But the next coach is Bob Kersee, and he has numerous accomplishments, as they're saying here. And of course, they're saying it's not easy where they begin with this. This list of athletes that are Olympic champions are multiple. The lists are numerous. You have Jackie Joyner, Dawn Harper, Gail Devers, Valerie Briscoe Hooks, Greg Foster, Alice Felix, Flojo, Joanna Hayes, Karen Clement, Sidney McLaughlin, and many more. Right? He's now coaching Athing too. Bob Kersee accomplishment in track and field range from 100, 200, 400, 100 meter, 110 hurdles, long jump, heptathlon. He produced many world and Olympic champions and quite a few world records along the way. Well, you know what? He has the most diversity of some of these other coaches that we have heard about. You know, we know Glenn Mills, Coach Usain Bolt, Stephen Francis, Elaine Thompson, Shelly-Ann Fraser. Well, Elaine Thompson here now, Shelly-Ann Fraser Price, now Shericka Jackson. You know, he coached Asafa Powell at one point before he left the camp, and he's producing many more. Of course, Stephen Francis is known for taking athletes that didn't rise, and you know, they weren't high school champions. They were, you know, some of them were just kind of like mediocre, average athletes, and turned them into champions. That's what he's known for. And here they're talking about Coach Francis, right? And down here, he's seen as a man with brilliant mind and genius in the field. They call him Franny here. I'm skipping over some of the stuff. Franny has a much younger track life than the other two, but the accomplishment to match his athletes are numerous, from Bridget Foster, Asafa Powell, Shelly-Ann Fraser Price, Elaine Thompson here, Nesta Carter, Michael Freda, Shericka Williams, Melanie Walker, Kelly Spence, Ronald Levy, Sharon Simpson, Tajay Gale, and many more. Franny also coached the last 4 Olympic female Olympic 100 champions from 2008 to 2020, and 8 of the 12 possible medals. So we can say he's one of the greats in today's modern time in the track and field coaching history. He prides himself on developing latent talent to a standard world level. He has coached athletes that win multiple world and Olympic events. His coaching ranges from 100, 200, 400, 110 meter hurdles, 100 meter hurdles, 110 meter hurdle, high jump, long jump. Franny is not only a great coach, but also a student of coaching to improve results. His sprinters tend to have excellent mechanics and are generally excellent starters. When you look at his athletes, you can see they are well coached and always seem to be at their best for championships. So they talk about Franny, and it look like it ends down here. They don't mention Glenn Mills, who was coach, the great Usain Bolt, who's also a guy that was very big on mechanics and working on sprint specific technique to get you sharp for your race. You know, he wasn't a coach that believed in training you like some kind of distant runner, or only train you in just the weight room. And he's learned over the years. He didn't start out perfect, but he's become a expert at the mechanics, proper mechanics in sprinting, speed specific work, you know, and motivating his athletes to be ready and believe in themselves. And that was one of his main things as he worked with Usain Bolt and brought him from an average athlete to an above average super athlete in track and field, to where he set some out of this world record, where track and field athletes are, you know, the sprinters are still pursuing till this day. And none has come close to really breaking his world record, especially the 100 meter world record. So this article just kind of focus on the top 3, but I think Glenn Mills should be in the top 3. No disrespect to Bud Winter. You know, that was back in the day, but we're talking now as compared with the times that these guys, they've put everything they've learned from past coaches. They become student of the sport and develop techniques to the point where they improve upon and kind of come up with their own strategic training methodology to get the best out of their athletes. This was once only thought of that only the United States or the big European countries could produce these athletes because they have all the resources and the research to keep improving their athletes. And all these top coaches now are being followed by younger coaches, aspiring coaches who wants to break into being top-notch coaches and keep improving the track and field program and training methodology to break records or to keep people running fast, jumping further and higher and so forth. So what y'all think, ladies and gentlemen? Is it Bob Kersee still on the top of the list, or you think Stephen Francis from Jamaica and Glenn Mills is clipping the heels of Bob Kersee? Or who else do you think is the top of track and field right now? The world is stepping up. It used to be just the US and way back in the days in the Soviet black countries, but you know the Soviet black countries had a history of allegedly doping their athletes to perform, right? Allegedly, because they shut down East Germany and found out that they had a secretive program where they were, you know, doping steroids or whatever they were using to create the super athletes. So now you have people like Marita Koku. To this day, the women 400 meter record is like still untouchable. Nobody has come close to running 47 anything. The world record for the 400 meter for Marita Koku is 47.6. They're hoping Sydney McGuffin Levrone will break that, or Paulino will get down there, and Nasir, if she can ever get back in shape from Bahrain. But we'll see. The Olympics is coming up. Everybody usually rises to the occasion, the Olympics. But there was an interesting interview that I'm going to post at the end of this video that Gregory Hartin did with Glenn Mills. And you can kind of judge for yourself how well you think or how good of a coach you think this man is, and should he be also in the top 3 or if not number 1, because he's been coaching for 60 years. As I was listening to the interview, I think it was an excellent interview that aspiring coaches can learn from. I myself learned some things, because if I had the knowledge and the skills that these coaches have today when I was competing, I would have been a sub 900 meter runner too. I was basically training wrong. I had no strength training program that was specific to my event to get me sharp and ready. I had no good technique. I didn't know anything about dry phrasing and all that kind of stuff. No good nutrition program, no sports psychology to help me with my mental toughness. And you know, I just kind of just ran off of my own talent basically, and just my motivation to work hard, but I wasn't doing a lot of things properly. These coaches have learned and put together from all the mistakes of other coaches, or tweaked stuff that they found of value and helpful, and made it even better to where they produce a Usain Bolt or Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price or an Asafa Powell or Justin Gatlin, you know, you name it. You know, so a lot of great athletes out there in the world with different coaches. Some are just in specific events, but you have to give credit to the coaches who produce athletes in many different fields, and that's why these guys are the top. You know, it's not just somebody in just one event that they produce that set a world record, but they diverse, a broad spectrum of events, from heptathlon to shot put to distance events to sprinting events, and they produce winners in all those different fields, and that's why these guys are rated in the top. But this was an interesting article. I didn't read through the whole thing. I just wanted to bring my one point of view and give y'all something to think about. But check out this interview also with Glenn Mills. I'm going to post it at the end of this clip as a video card. And, you know, we could learn some things from Glenn Mills, the coach of Usain Bolt, the great track and field sprinter from Jamaica. But anyway, that's it for now. I know I didn't have a smooth transition into going through the whole article, but I just want to kind of touch on certain points that come to my mind and for you all to think about what y'all think or who y'all think is the greatest coach and what we can learn from this. All right, so that's it. Just want to bring that perspective to the table and leave it to y'all up to, you know, think what y'all want to think or comment on what y'all think about this article and who y'all think is the greatest coach. All right, so till next time, I'm out.